We now come to the last and fourth approach to learning. Most of the teachers use some kind of metaphor, analogies, parallels in their teachings, but they do not know their power. In my training career, I have used these tools of communication extensively. Why? First, it's extremely easy to teach a new subject to anybody who hasn't studied or even heard about it. By using metaphors, I have found that the audience is more at ease and open to learning new and complex topics. Second reason is that, as I've been telling you earlier in several instances, I am myself predominated by this right upper brain, or the wisdom brain quadrant, or the yellow brain quadrant. To me, it's so natural. When I study new and difficult topics, I always use those analogies to help me understand and move forward in my learning of that subject. The third reason is that whenever I come up with metaphors, it is so spontaneous and I get a burst of joy. It's like I made a discovery of an unknown connection between what I am familiar with and what I am unfamiliar with. Then the fourth reason is that when we use analogies, the students are shocked, amused, and they wake up from somber land. The look on their face when the metaphor is spoken is priceless. They wouldn't have expected it, but it would have hit a deep chord in them. So these are the reasons I use lots of metaphors in my own teachings. Any teacher who has extensive knowledge in his own subject will tend to use metaphors to explain his content with concepts and ideas that his audience is familiar with. When Einstein said that the real test of whether you are an expert in a subject or not is when you can explain what you are supposed to be an expert in to 10-year-old or 8-year-olds. What Einstein was saying at that time is that people who are unfamiliar with your area of expertise will not be able to learn by starting from your skill set, terminologies, rules, and activities. They will not also be able to understand the relationships between the various topics in your subjects and the various concepts and their interplays. That would be a total novelty for them. Also, they would not have the relevant exposure to the real life application of your subject because they are too young or they did not have an opportunity to make such observations. In this way, I have explained to you that there are many topics and subjects that are so novel, challenging, and boring that you cannot teach them from any of the three brain quadrants. That is the skill quadrant, knowledge quadrant, and information quadrant, respectively. So, how do you go about fulfilling the requirement of Einstein? How can you teach a topic or subject that people have never heard about, is super complicated, and is as boring as it comes? Yes, you got it. You've got to teach it from the wisdom brain quadrant using metaphors. They are basically like bridges that connect your subject to whatever reality the audience is familiar with. Again, I will not go into details for each of the 12 subjects in this section with regards to this wisdom brain quadrant approach of teaching, because I'll be doing so in the respective chapters. However, I will illustrate with one of my favorite topic of the law of demand and supply in economics. I will directly go to the wisdom brain quadrant approach to explain demand and supply. So in order to explain this concept to teenagers, I use the analogy of boy-girl relationship. I start with three girls and six boys. Let's say that they all need to get married. My question is, in terms of demand and supply, how do the girls and boys fare? So obviously, if there was anything like bride money to be paid for the marriage, how high will it be? Now, because the supply of girls is less than that of boys, the bride money will be high. Now, what if the number of girls and boys was equal and there were three of each gender? What would happen to the bride money price? Of course, it will decrease now. So in this way, the student is now able to understand the law of demand and supply within the context of their current reality. Now, if you have to explain the same thing to a housewife, you would use the analogy of shopping for vegetables. If there are plenty of tomatoes, what will the price be compared to if there were fewer of them? In the marriage season, what would happen to the price of eggs? In the first case, the tomatoes will become cheaper because the supply is more, and in the later case, the eggs will become more expensive because the demand is high. Now they are able to understand the subject from their own realities. So the idea of using the wisdom brain quadrant is to understand your audience and connect what you have to teach into their worldview or realities. Now, like every metaphor, there will never be a perfect one-to-one correspondence, but the idea is to bridge the gap of familiarity between what you have to teach and what they do not want to learn but need to. Once this bridge is made, there will be a lot of innovations in their own minds. They don't need to make modern art or the next iPhone or even a new song. All they need to do is to see your subject in a newness, in a fresh perspective, in a creative angle that is very close to them. By so doing, the student is now motivated to acquire the new, difficult, and boring skills, data, rules, task, mastery of your subject. By using the wisdom brain quadrant heavily, the students will equate you as a true Einstein.